Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Sun Dragon Tips and Tricks. I started huge with my first project on this channel. I did garter tab cast on, which has tons of stuff in it. Go big or go home, right? So I thought I would start breaking down smaller pieces of just getting started knitting for those of you who are early in your journeys or want to learn something new. So today we are going to do long tail cast on. Now, long tail cast on is what I use for 90% of my projects. If the pattern just says cast on 90 stitches, I am doing long tail. And I'll tell you why. It is versatile, it is stretchy, it doesn't change shape as you knit your first row, and it's really quick once you learn it. Now, as the name implies, long tail. Tail is the end, show you that in a second. Long tail, you need enough of a tail to make sure that you can get through your cast on. Find better words than that. So we're going to talk about how to measure that and how to do it. So stick with me. Here we go. All right. Now I am attempting to sketch out as much as I can of each of the steps and tips and tricks that I demonstrate. So for long tail cast on, even though we knit with 2 needles, we only need to use 1 for long tail. I'm going to use both hands, but only 1 needle. So you're going to hold the needle in your right hand, which means it will be pointing to the left, and you're going to put your slip knot on it. Here's my drawing of a slip knot. A slip knot is a loop that goes over your needle with a little knot here at the bottom. And long tail, like the name implies, here's the rest of our little short needle here. As the name implies, it's going to have a long tail. So 1 strand of yarn is going to be your tail. And we'll show you in a second how to measure it to make sure it's long enough. And the other strand that's going to be hanging down is going to be the strand that goes to your ball band. So let's draw that in. There's my ball of yarn. And like I said, so we've got the tail and we've got the strand that goes to the ball band. And this needle is going to be held in your right hand. I recommend keeping this loop, the slip knot, kind of close to the tip of your needle. The closer your work is to the tip of the needle, the more control you have. Believe it or not, even if it's scary as a beginner, your fingers are there to help keep things on. I wouldn't keep it all the way on the tip. I would make sure it's not on the tip, but that it's close because it gives you more control. The rest of this is a little too hard for me to draw. It's easy to do once you get the hang. It's a little hard to draw. So we're going to move on to actually working with the yarn. As I just sketched out, we're going to need a long enough tail to make all the stitches we're going to have to put on. We're going to have our tail and the yarn going to the ball. Knitters, we got jokes. We think we're funny. Looks like a tail, so we call it our tail. And you need enough of this for the number of stitches that you are going to cast on. We call it playing yarn chicken, and we like to win at yarn chicken. So how do we figure that out? I mentioned you only need 1 needle for long tail cast on, and you can use that needle to help you figure out how much you need. So what I do, I hold the end to the needle and I wrap it around 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now if I pinch both ends of that, take it off, I'm going to put my needle down. This is how much I think I'll need for 10 stitches. And 10 is an easy thing to multiply. So let's say I needed to put on 40 stitches. There's 20, 30, 40. If I wanted to, I'd go to 50. Here's 40. And I always make sure to add a little bit more because you want to have some tail left over. We hide that when we're done with our work. If this is really short, then we have issues. So this is where our slip knot is going to go. If you start with a slip knot, I recommend, if you haven't tried long tail cast on, to start with a slip knot. This is where I want to put it. We'll join you on the other side to do some close-ups of that. All right, I've got my needles, I've got my yarn, and remember I said we would be holding 2 needles to knit, but we only need 1 to cast on, so I'm going to put 1 away. Here's my needle that's going to go in my right hand. I'll bring the ball back if we need to look at it. I measured out earlier enough for 40 stitches, but right now I just want to cast on 10 or so. So I could measure. I'm just going to go in a little ways away so I have a long tail over here. And the first thing we need to do is we need to make a slip knot. Now, there are many ways to make a slip knot. I'm going to show you the way I can most easily communicate. And actually, you know what? I'm going to take this ring off, put him over there. It's one of my row counter rings. I love them, but he's going to be distracting when I show you stuff. So, I have the tail draped over the front of my hand. And then what goes to the ball, ta-da, is over the back. I'm going to get a little slack on my yarn. I'm going to wrap this around my hand once and cross it over towards the back of my hand. Get my hand out of the way so you can see my other hand. So I've wrapped it around, and then I can duck it under the strand on the back of my hand, pinch it with my right hand, take my left hand out, and pull on the tail. Pull on whichever side tightens up this little knot. So we have a loop with a knot. And it's a slip knot because, look, I can slip it larger and smaller. And if I did it right, I can pull on both ends here. Boop! It comes out like magic. It does not leave a knot, and you can try again. Again, the long tail is in front here. I am wrapping all the way around my hand and over so that I can duck this under, pinch it with my right hand, take my left hand out, pull on the tail. Now, if you're left-handed, you may feel comfortable doing that the opposite way, but this idea is still the same. Okay, we have our slip knot. I'm going to put that on my right needle, and I'm going to cinch it up. And it's probably the strand that goes to the ball. Remember, here's my ball. That will cinch it up. And I really recommend that this is snug, not tight. Because the tighter things are on this, the harder it is to work your first row. You can always put a finger on this from your right hand, excuse me, for confusing my left and right all the time. That doesn't mean it's locked in place. You can still slide it around, but it's not going to come off your needle. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to grab, we got 2 strands here, remember? I'm going to grab both of them with my left hand. I'm going to take my thumb and my finger, I call it pointing them towards the sky, and they're going to go into the center and separate front and back. What ends up happening, if I show you overhead, I have a loop on my thumb and a loop, whoop, which I almost lost on my finger. And they are on opposite sides of the needle, front, back, back. Okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my needle, wrap around the front, and just tap the base of my thumb. It puts me in the right position to go. I'm going to go under the front strand on my thumb, wrap around over the front strand on my finger, and pull it back under and through the front strand on my thumb. It's through the loop that's there. Then I need to tighten it up, and all I need to do is take my thumb out of that loop that's in the back and put it back under the front strand and pull. A lot of people's first impulse is to try to tighten both of these. The front one is really the only one that needs to be tightened, but if you feel yourself doing that, that's fine. That's totally fine. That means you have a chance to reset and practice again. Grab both strands, take your thumb and your finger, point them towards the sky, push them in, and pull them apart. See that from the top. Let me try doing one from the top, okay? You're going to take your needle, take it around the front, and tap the base of your thumb. It puts you in the right position to go under the front strand on your thumb, wrap around and over the front strand on your finger, and pull it back under the front strand on your thumb. Just the front strand. And then you can take your thumb out of that loop, put it back in the front, and tighten it up. I'll do it again from this side. And one of the things, the hardest thing I find for some people is, what do I do once I grab that front strand? So let's take a look. Tap the base of your thumb so you can scoop under that front strand on your thumb, wrap around and over the front strand on your finger, and then I call it backing out the way you came in. You came under this front strand, so you need to come back under just that front strand to come out. There's a lot of knitting that's the same type of idea. Let me tighten this up and then I'll talk about it. Snug that one up. Look, I have four on my needle already. 1, 2, 3, 4. Backing out the way you came in. Here's my analogy for it. If you pull straight into a parking spot, say you're going to get groceries, pull straight in, and you run into the shop and get groceries. So here I am, tap. I run in to get groceries. I parked my car by pulling in straight, grabbing the groceries. I need to back that car straight out, the reverse of the direction I came in, so I don't sideswipe the car next to me. Let me finish that stitch so I can show you another, see what happens. If I tap here, park to get the groceries. If I turn too soon or I try to go another direction, it's going to get weird. I have to go only under that front strand, which is the only one I went under to get in there. That's backing my car out straight. So when you get the hang of this, I'm going to reset. Wrap around, thumb and finger, put them in and pull apart. When you get the muscle memory for this, it can go pretty quickly, and you can cast a lot of stitches onto your needle fairly quickly. Try not to let them bundle up here, jam up here, because they'll get tight and they'll be hard to move back. So I get in the habit of really, once I put it on, moving them back just a little bit, and I can keep going. You can really fly through this once you get the hang of it. I'm going to take a few off of here to show you how to do that again. And some people ask, should the tail be on your thumb or your finger? In many ways, it doesn't really matter. You may come out more even in Yarn Chicken if the tail is on your finger. Right now, my tail is on my thumb. That actually guarantees me I should have more yarn left. I would rather have too much tail at the end than not enough and run out and have to start again. Okay, let me show you again very slowly. Grab the whole thing, thumb and finger, go into the center and separate. This is that overhead shot of that. Come around and tap your thumb so you can go under the front strand on your thumb, wrap over and around the front strand on your finger, and come back under the front strand on your thumb and tighten. One more time, give it a shot with me. Tap the base of your thumb, under the front strand on your thumb, wrap around the front strand on your finger, come back under the front strand on your thumb, snug it up. There we go. thanks for coming along with us on this journey to do longtail cast on. I think I won at Yarn Chicken, if I do say so myself, which means my tail did not run out before I finished casting on. Now, like I said, I do this for 90% of my cast-ons, and I really enjoy this one because you have one strand that's looping around the bottom and one strand that is looping over the needle, and it gives you an elastic cast-on. It gives you one that these won't change shape or get super tight while you go, and should be fairly easy to start knitting. And to start knitting, you would put this, which has been in your right hand the whole time. Full needle goes in your left hand. Empty needle goes in your right. And you are ready to knit. Stick with it if you're trying it and it's being difficult at first. Like I said, people look at me like I have 6 heads when I first showed this to them. And then once they get it, they fly. So good luck. I hope your adventures in crafting bring you as much joy as mine do, and may you have confidence on the journey. See you later. Hi, kitty baby. You behaved yourself this time, didn't you, huh? Yeah. I know. Were we not as exciting today? Oh, okay, I get you. I know you want to learn to knit. Maybe someday we'll get you there, okay?